YouTube streamer Destiny confronted Sneako today, and the two had quite an interesting conversation. Sneako is a former YouTuber turned Rumbler who got cancelled because of a few controversial statements he made about things like women and the media, and more recently, the Holocaust.
Do you think that like 6 million Jews like actually died? Do you think that number is massively overinflated, or that it's about right? Or like, do you have any opinions on like number of people that have died in the Holocaust?
Okay, here's my answer because I don't want to get put on a no-fly list.
Sure.
But
wait, never mind. You don't even have to answer.
No, I'll answer. I'll answer.
Okay,
I don't want to get a no-fly list. Like but what I can confidently say is there's no way to know like if it's gas chambers, how are you going to be able to count who's counting 6 million corpses? It's impossible. There's no way to actually track that. Just like in any other war, in any complete genocide, there's no way to actually know how many people it is. And just the fact that they say it's 6 million, no more, no less, is a very weird number. And the fact that like you're called a Holocaust denier, if you even question that number, it sets off alarm bells in my head. So it could be a lot more, it could be less, but like actually 6 million, there's absolutely, especially if it's gas chambers, there's no way to know that.
Sneako is now also representative of Ye's campaign, in which Ye plans to run for president for the 2024 election. He's essentially taking the stance of being pro-free speech and anti-establishment. Destiny had a conversation with Sneako on his live stream today, directly challenging Sneako's research methods and his beliefs outright.
Have you ever done any like actual real additional research on the Holocaust? I think that that's like the very first question that you would ask. So my question would be, do you know how they tallied up the dead people? Or have you not looked into like even that most because I'm only going by earlier, you said you'd watched documentaries and you'd read multiple books and you'd consulted multiple historians. Do you know how they came up with the numbers of how many people died during the Holocaust?
While Sneako isn't necessarily the most wild or crazy person in his social group, believe it or not, he does say a lot of wild and crazy things, seemingly to keep his audience motivated, captivated. As a result, it sort of makes it hard for avid watchers like yourself and I to really understand exactly what Sneako's motives are. His motto has always been to seek truth through funny, and yet recently it's become a little bit more difficult to truly see the funny side of what Sneako has been doing and saying. Especially over the last year, we've seen Sneako sort of transition from the funny aspect and align himself with public figures like Ye and Fuentes and Kanye West, and this has come in the wake of him being taken off and removed completely from platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and many others. It's as if him and those within his political and social sphere are in a race to who can say the craziest thing and get the most attention from it. And of course, this has come with a plethora of merits. I mean, just think of the names that Sneako is now aligned with. We're talking about names like Andrew Tate, Iman Gadzhi, Ye Fuentes, and Kanye West. These connections have lined Sneako up to be able to utilize those that are in positions of power and have influence to bolster his own audience. Now he's transitioned over to Rumble and he uses locals. He's able to bring the fans of his own and also those giant names that he's associated with to his platform to keep his income up. It's even gotten him to the point where all he had to do was send a few texts to his fellow friend Iman, and it got him unbanned off of Twitter. So I think it's very safe to say Sneako ain't going anywhere. It does make me wonder though, has Sneako truly evolved his ideology, or is he just using his adaptability and that seek truth through funny mantra to keep himself aligned with these extremists who will keep his name publicly recognized and his pockets publicly lined? I mean, just a year ago, come on, Sneako was saying this.
So I wanted to break this down, like, because this was, imagine seeing the girl you love, like,
get fucked.
You
love her?
Yeah, I do. I love it. Yeah, I love her. I was about to say I love this bitch. I'm like, no, let me not say that. I love my wifey, my queen.
And you allowed the love of your life to get fucked by another man.
What happened to the other agreement?
Are there rules to like how big the nigga dick can be?
Whatever happened.
There has to be, because if it's 10 inches, it's not happening.
Is there sex
like,
duration?
That's not fair.
Why? That's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not fair to you because you have to follow that act though. That's crazy.
You can't say not that dick. You can't pick and choose dick.
You can. Yeah, you can.
I can't be picking and choosing. I think it's something everybody should do just to test. No! You know what?
No!
I think.
And now, as he said on Destiny's stream, he's a Christian valued man who is just trying to see the world be able to speak freely like a true Christian. He even went as far as saying that, yeah, he does love Adolf Hitler because it's what Jesus would do, and Jesus loves everyone.
Has it ever gotten to the point where you're like publicly defending people saying they love Hitler? Like that's probably a pretty big departure from stuff you've normally been involved in.
I support what Jesus would do. On Jesus' birthday, Jesus would want everybody to be loved. And I tweeted, I love Jews and Nazis, which is what Jesus would do. Jesus would love everybody. I agree with that statement. I like the fact that he broke that final wall of the woke mob.
I mean, come on, y'all. That's like a completely different man. And I'm not saying that people can't change. Trust me, I get it. You know, when he was back in New York, when he was back in New Haven, Connecticut, he had a different way of thinking because he was surrounded by completely different people. So his mindset was influenced. I get it. All I'm saying is in 2 years, it's like looking at night and day. And Sneako has definitely changed. Even from how extreme he was back then, it's gotten even more extreme. The one thing I can say is, Sneako definitely knows what he's doing. He's found a way to utilize his fan base and utilize exactly how edgy they are to promote himself, to build himself, and to gain more success from it. Whether it's calling everybody a bot and yelling at women.
Bomboka! How is that possible? How are you alive? Never listen to them again on any advice when it comes to gaming. Pretty accurate of what girl goes through girls' heads. Yeah, oh, my shoes are tight. No, I don't want to go there. She's such a slut.
Or copying the Andrew Tate method of selling courses online, or even aligning yourself with political figures such as Ye and Fuentes and Kanye West. Sneako's able to adjust himself and change his mentality to keep himself both relevant and rich. And honestly, if you can't respect that, well, then maybe you're just a... That's going to be all for now, guys. Thank you so much for joining and watching my video. If you do support me, you do like the videos, and you want to keep seeing them, hit that subscribe button. And please drop a comment as well because it promotes the video in the YouTube algorithm. Until next time, and until the next video, Dreamers, out.